Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, going to be talking through some MLB player props I like for today on Prizepicks for Friday, July the 29th. We do have a full 15 game slate for Friday night, so there are a lot of player props to choose from. Right now, taking a first look at the board on Thursday, there was a good amount of stuff that stood out that I liked for today. For the sake of this video, we're just going to give out three plays I like at first look. I will definitely post more plays that I like over on Patreon. And if you guys want to get access to my additional Prizepicks plays, those are posted on Patreon every single day. Link down below in the description. You can check that out if you are interested. But real quickly, before we talk through our plays for Friday, we can recap Thursday's plays. We just gave out 2 picks on Thursday, but we had another good day. Hit both of our 2 plays on Thursday, so hopefully you guys did tail. We took the over on Zach Wheeler's strikeouts, took that over 6, and Wheeler finished with 8 strikeouts. And I know his strikeout prop got bumped up to 6.5. Even if you still took that, you're still able to hit. Wheeler pitched 7 innings, had 8 strikeouts. Got the job done. Obviously, liked that matchup a lot against the Pirates, and he pitched really well. Went over his K prop. And then we took the over on Alex Wood's fantasy score. That line was at 26.5, and Wood finished with 33 fantasy points. So he went over by a decent amount, even though that line got bumped up as well to 28.5. If you still took the over on that, obviously it still hit. I think Wood pitched 6 innings, or maybe I think he went like 6 2/3 innings. Didn't have many strikeouts. He only had 3 strikeouts, gave up 2 runs. Luckily, though, was able to get the quality start, was able to get the win, and that's one of the reasons sometimes I like to take fantasy scores, because you can get a guy doesn't have to get a ton of strikeouts to go over their fantasy score. They can pitch deep into the game, get the quality start, get the win, and that's what happened for Wood on Thursday. Got the quality start, got the win, finished with 33 fantasy points, went over his fantasy score. So we hit both of our plays on Thursday, and that's now back-to-back days we've had a clean sweep. We had a clean sweep on Wednesday, 3-0 on Wednesday, went 2-0 on Thursday, and hopefully we can go 3-0 on Friday. Continue this nice little run that we've been on. Before we talk through our plays for Friday, guys, real quickly, just hit that like button if you have not yet. Hit that subscribe button as well if you are new here. And also, if you're new to Prizepicks and you have not signed up for Prizepicks yet, make sure to get over there, sign up, use promo code NOAH, and Prizepicks will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. As always, Prizepicks, they offer a ton of player props, and obviously in MLB and in other sports as well. You can take a look at all the other sports that Prizepicks offers. On Prizepicks, you can mix and match sports, so you can do multi-sport entries. You can do a 5-pick entry with 2 MLB props, a PGA prop, a CSGO prop, and KBO prop. Like, you can do all kinds of different entries. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend you guys get over there. Make sure when you do sign up, use that promo code NOAH, so that way you get your deposit bonus when you sign up. And again, if you guys enjoy these YouTube videos, they help you out a lot. You want to get more Prizepicks plays from me, I do offer those on Patreon. If you're interested in that, Patreon is always linked down below in the description. Let's talk through Friday's slate, guys. Again, it's a big, full 15-game slate, so there are a lot of options. All the games today are night games, so that's pretty convenient. Don't have to worry about any early games for today. So we're going to start off in the pitcher fantasy score category. I have 2 pitcher fantasy scores that I'm liking for today, and then I have a strikeout prop that I'm liking. So first off, for pitcher fantasy score, we got a lot of aces pitching on Friday, and one ace that I do like quite a bit today is going to be Garrett Cole, and I like his over 42.5 fantasy score going up against the Royals. I know this number does seem pretty high, 42.5, but I think it's warranted for Garrett Cole. I mean, Garrett Cole is an elite pitcher. He's one of the best pitchers in the league. Obviously, he's a great strikeout pitcher as well, has one of the highest K rates in the league, 32.3% strikeout rate this season for Garrett Cole, which is top 8% in the league. He does a really good job of limiting hard contact. He doesn't really get barreled up much at all. His expected WOBA, expected batting average, expected ERA, those numbers are all very, very solid. Obviously, an elite strikeout pitcher. And this matchup against the Royals, now so far this season, when you look at the Royals lineup and you look at their splits as a whole versus right-handed pitching, they haven't been striking out a ton on the season versus right-handed pitching. The Royals, in terms of K rate, they are about middle of the pack. They're 19th. But this is a weak lineup in general. This is not a lineup that you really worry about getting to Cole. When the Royals, when they score a lot of runs, usually it's because of just like bloop singles, doubles. I mean, this team has like no power. If you look at where they rank in ISO, the Royals are 3rd to last in ISO versus right-handed pitching this season. It's just not a lineup that I'm really scared about Cole getting blown up by. I think this is definitely a spot we could see Cole pitch really deep into the game. He's always a guy that's going to have a pretty big workload. He's always going to pitch fairly deep into the game. His most recent start against the Orioles, he threw 112 pitches. He's thrown over 100 pitches now, and what looks like to be 6 out of his last 7 starts, Cole has thrown over 100 pitches. So this is one of those scenarios where we could see Cole pitch really deep into the game, go maybe 6, 7, 8 innings. I mean, probably not 8 innings, but 6 or 7 innings, pretty likely. I think it's very likely that he doesn't allow more than 3 runs, so he should get a quality start here. And obviously Cole's an elite strikeout pitcher, so he should definitely be able to rack up strikeouts. Now again, this is not like a matchup where you love for strikeouts, because the Royals, in terms of K rate, they're about middle of the pack this season. But there are some guys in this Royals lineup that will strike out. Melendez has a 27% K rate this year. Hunter Dozier 22%, Prado 24%, Michael A. Taylor 23%. Isabel just over 20% K rate. Garcia, I mean, not much of a sample size on him. We'll have to see what kind of guy he is. He's had 1 at bat versus a righty this year, and he struck out in that 1 at bat. But really the only guys that don't strike out in this Royals lineup are Whit Merrifield, Nicky Lopez, and Pasquantino. Everyone else has a K rate above 20%. And obviously Cole, I mean, even guys like Merrifield and Lopez, like those guys can still strike out against Garrett Cole, because Garrett Cole has a 32% strikeout rate this season. He can strike out anyone. So really like the matchup for Garrett Cole. I think this is definitely a spot where we could see him get a quality start. I don't see him really getting blown up against this Royals lineup. It's just a very weak lineup in general. I mean, they traded away one of their better players to their Yankees. Andrew Benintendi got traded to the Yankees. So this lineup's even weaker than normal. Cole probably gets a win here as well, which is something that I like to see. Right now, the Yankees are minus 375 moneyline favorites. Obviously, when you're looking at fantasy scoring, if Cole does get a win, that's 6 points there. So, like, if he goes 6 innings, gets 6, 7, 8 strikeouts, gets a quality start, gets a win, that's probably going to be enough for him to go over this fantasy score line, which I think against this Royals team, we can definitely see Garrett Cole do that. So I like that as our first play for today, over 42.5 fantasy score for Garrett Cole. And then our next play, again, another fantasy score. We're going to be taking Brandon Woodruff over 36.5, going up against the Red Sox. Now, when you think of this matchup, the Red Sox, it doesn't sound like a spot that would be that great so far this season. When you look at season-long numbers on the year, the Red Sox numbers versus right-handed pitching are pretty solid. In terms of strikeout rate, they are towards the bottom of the league, bottom 10, just a 21.5% K rate. Their offensive numbers are solid, 6th in batting average on the season, 253 batting average versus righties. On base percentage, Boston's about league average. They're 16th. In terms of slugging, Boston is 10th in that category. But what really stands out is, as of late, the Red Sox have just not been hitting the ball that well. They've really been struggling. And over their last 30 days, they've been striking out a ton. So last 30 days, Boston actually has the 3rd highest K rate versus right-handed pitching, 26.2% K rate. And their offensive numbers are much worse than their season-long numbers. Their batting average, they are 23rd in that category. On base percentage, Boston is third to last, or 3rd worst over the last 30 days. In terms of slugging, Boston's bottom 10 in that category as well. OPS, they're 26th. WRC plus, they rank 26th. So this is a team that on the season has, when you look at their season-long numbers, they look solid. But lately, Boston's really been struggling. Obviously, they're missing Rafael Devers right now, who's their best hitter. And this is just not a lineup that I'm really that scared about right now. I mean, Andrew Bogarts is a good hitter. JD Martinez has some power, but he's been in kind of a slump lately. Duran's a solid hitter, but he strikes out a lot. Verdugo's a pretty solid hitter that doesn't strike out much. But guys like Cordero with a 29% K rate this season, Bobby Dahlback with a 31% strikeout rate. Jackie Bradley Jr. just is not that good of a hitter. Hasn't been striking out as much this season, but again, I mean, he just has a 114 ISO and a 273 WOBA against righties. Yomer Sanchez, 21% K rate and has a 250 WOBA. Like, it's just a weak lineup, especially without Rafael Devers. Brandon Woodruff, we know, is an elite pitcher, has great numbers, has a K rate over 30%. His batted ball numbers are solid as well. Like, he rarely gets beat up. He rarely gives up a lot of hard contact. He's just a really, really good pitcher. And I think this fantasy score line is definitely too low, especially I think Prizepicks maybe is adjusting or not adjusting enough for how bad Boston has been struggling lately. When you look at this matchup, when you think Boston for the season, you think tough matchup. But this Boston team is just not the same as they were at the beginning of the year. They haven't been hitting the ball that well lately. They've really been striking out a lot more. And Woodruff is one of the best pitchers in the league. I think this fantasy score line is definitely too low for him. I was looking at his K prop as well. His K prop is currently set at 6.5. I think there's a pretty good chance Woodruff goes over that. The only issue, or the only reason I took fantasy score instead of strikeouts is because so far this season, and just about, I'm pretty sure every start that Woodruff has gotten 7 strikeouts, he's also gotten 37 fantasy points. And I could definitely see a scenario where Woodruff goes like 6 innings, gets a quality start, only gets like 5 strikeouts. Like if he pitches 6 shutout innings, gets a quality start, gets 5 strikeouts, that's 37 fantasy points. So could that happen where he goes under Ks but over fantasy? Like, I think it's possible. I like both the props though for Woodruff. I definitely think they're too low. I think this is actually a pretty good matchup for him against the Red Sox. And I like his fantasy score. I like his Ks as well. But for the sake of this video, we're going to be taking the over 36.5 fantasy score for Brandon Woodruff as our second play for today. And then third and final play, going to go to one of the later games. And we're going to be taking the over on 5.5 strikeouts for Blake Snell. Now, this matchup against the Twins is actually not that great because the Twins so far this year versus left-handed pitching have not really been striking out that much. 25th in terms of K rate, just 19.3%. But this K prop of 5.5, I think is definitely too low for the caliber of pitcher that Blake Snell is and for the strikeout upside that he has. Now, Blake Snell does have a problem with walks. I mean, he has a really high walk rate. Sometimes you'll see him have starts where his command is off and he gets pulled early because he's walking too many batters and stuff like that. But he does always have that good strikeout stuff and that good strikeout upside. He can always get those swings and misses when he needs to. So far this season, 29.1% K rate for Blake Snell. He's always been a really good strikeout pitcher. He's had at least a 29% K rate in 5 straight seasons now. So far this year, in terms of K percentage, he's 85th percentile in K percentage, 87th percentile in swinging strike rate. Chase rate solid. He's got obviously good spin on his fastball. Gets has a curveball that he can get a lot of swings and misses on. That he can get a lot of guys to chase on. And even though this Twins team on the season versus left-handed pitching have not been striking out a ton, there are still some hitters in this lineup individually that will strike out. And one thing that I do like to see is that the Twins actually got Miguel Sano back in the lineup, which is good for Blake Snell because Miguel Sano has a super high K rate so far this year versus lefties. He's got a 41% strikeout rate. Gary Sanchez has a K rate above 30%. Kyle Garlick, 25% K rate. Byron Buxton is obviously a great hitter, but he has a K rate above 30% versus lefties this year. Now, the other guys in this lineup, like Correa, Polanco, Miranda, Urshela, they don't have super high K rates, but Blake Snell is a really, really good strikeout pitcher. He's one of these guys that can, get strikeouts versus anyone. He's got good swing and miss stuff. He's got a 29% K rate this season. It's kind of similar to, when we talked about Garrett Cole and Brandon Woodruff. Snell's obviously not on the same level as those guys, but the strikeout stuff is definitely, up there with those guys because his K percentage is right next to theirs. I mean, Woodruff, he's got a 30% K rate this year. Snell's 29%. So 5.5, I think, is definitely too low of a line for Blake Snell. I think he's just too good of a strikeout pitcher to have a K prop this low. There's always a chance that maybe the Twins get to him early. Maybe Snell's command is off and he gets pulled, early. Maybe he doesn't pitch super deep into the game. But I think if he goes 5 or 6 innings, faces, whatever, how many batters that is, 25, 30 batters, there's a good chance he's going to get, 6 strikeouts, go over this K prop. I wanted to see if there was like some odds on this, but right now DraftKings Sportsbook does not have odds posted yet for Blake Snell. I'll be interested to see like if his K prop on DraftKings Sportsbook is the same as Prizepicks. I could definitely see this line getting bumped up to 6. It is pretty rare that you see Snell have a K prop below 6. His K prop is normally like 6 or 6.5. But I think because it is a tougher strikeout matchup, the books kind of lowered his strikeout prop for today. But I think that is still a mistake. I think Snell is just a good strikeout pitcher and a guy that can get Ks kind of in any matchup. I'm pretty sure so far this year he's had at least 4 strikeouts in every single start of the season. I think he's had at least 6 strikeouts in like 5 out of 11 or 6 out of 11 starts. So I'm going to roll with that as our third and final play for today. Over 5.5 strikeouts for Blake Snell. And this is what we're going to be, rolling for Friday night, guys. A little 3-pick entry. Again, it's a big slate, and there's a lot of options today. A lot of props stood out. For the sake of this video, we're just going to give out 3 plays. But again, I will post more plays that I like for today. I will post those over on Patreon. I'll take a look at the board once again on Friday afternoon. And all the additional plays I find that I like, I'll share those on Patreon. If you want access to those, check out the Patreon link down below in the description. But as always, guys, best of luck on the slate. Thanks as always for watching these videos. Hit that like button if you did enjoy. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And also, check out Prizepicks. Make sure to use promo code NOAH when you sign up for Prizepicks. Get your first deposit matched up to $100. But yeah, guys, enjoy your Friday night. Hopefully we can get another clean sweep tonight. Hopefully we can hit all 3 of these plays, make some money once again. Good luck, though, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.